Well, Aaron, your defensive front, after trying to contain a quarterback, now got to get after it a little bit. What did they show, and how does that kind of translate moving forward?
Well, it was good, man, because I felt like the guys up front, they were kind of yearning for that moment, and it was really good to kind of unleash them a little bit, every week the game plan is going to change, and based on who we're playing, based on what they can do within the framework of the pocket. And I think at the end of the day, the goal is to just try to, right, sometimes we're a little more aggressive on some guys than others, right, and it's just based on game plan, and we were able to pin our ears back, especially on certain down and distances, see those guys get after it, right. We got some guys up front to do that, so it was just very refreshing to see how active they were up front, even on some of the early downs, right. Saw some great transition rush, and we were able to get some of the younger guys in, which is obviously going to vie huge for us as we kind of progress throughout the season.
When you watch Nebraska film this year compared to this year, how do you kind of compare those two offenses?
From this year and then in comparison to last year?
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, the quarterback is that cat's different, man. He's as good as advertised, man. Obviously, there's a lot of reminiscence to Pat Mahomes, but the young man is a big-time player in his own right, Just for a young player that young to come in and command that offense the way he does a tremendous job. And I think that's probably the biggest difference, him. The young man last year, he did a great job for him. But this cat, I don't know, like guys are rallying behind him. They do a really good job running the ball up front, obviously. But probably one of the key pieces is that, you got a quarterback he's a freshman, but you can throw all that out the window. That dude has been playing the game a long time. He's doing it the right way. His teammates are behind him. You can tell the way they run block. You can tell the way they pass protect. And so it's going to be really, really fun to go into an arena like that, right, and play a night game. We're really looking forward to it.
That said, is there an opportunity because he's a freshman to try and throw something at him that he hasn't seen?
Well, I think anytime you go into a game of this caliber, right, especially with some people would consider this he's rather inexperienced at the collegiate level, but football is football. The cat's been playing football at a relatively high level. He was a five-star recruit for a reason, right? There's five-star recruits all over the country who are freshmen. If you didn't know that they were freshmen, you would probably think they were seniors or juniors because they're so talented, And so I do think that anytime, we're going into week 4. This is the first Big Ten game for him. This is the first Big Ten game for us. I think there's a lot of cool storylines in that regard, but just the way they have done a tremendous job. I got a lot of respect to Coach Satterfield, a lot of respect to Coach Rule. They've done a tremendous job in prepping him, it's especially on how to handle success and what's to come for him. And they've done a really good job of just having a really balanced offense because they run the ball extremely well, and with the run game, you kind of open up the pass game. But I think at the end of the day, the goal is to always try to get havoc on the quarterback, young or old. Let some of our guys try to hunt up front, and so we're going to do the best we can to try to limit some of his explosives, try to limit him running around, and more importantly, to try to contain that offense and stop that run game.
Yeah, rotate some DBs in. Last game, Tyler gets in for the first time, really, and Terrence gets a little more playing time. Xavier gets bounced out. What would you see from that unit for a couple drives?
Yeah, I saw guys kind of growing in a moment. This is all a part of the long-term plan. I said this last week, everybody wants it now. Like, we live in such a right now society that nobody wants to understand the process is earned, right? And I felt like those guys who had came in, they had earned the opportunity to get some reps at pivotal moments during the course of the game. And I think it's going to fare well for us as we continue to progress throughout the season. I made a point early this weekend, last week, that since I've been here, we have, based on the season, we have never finished the season without playing our 6th or 7th DB. Like, somebody's going to have to step up, right? The season's long, it's physical, and so just trying to get those guys their feet wet early, it was always good to see. And they did some really good things. There's obviously some things that we can clean up, but I was very pleased with some of the stuff that I saw on film once I had a chance to watch it.
In the second games now that you haven't let the team into the end zone and shut out in the opener, just field goals against Central Michigan, what's letting this defense maybe do that?
Well, I think all in all, right, I think that people get so caught up in yards and this and that, and at the end of the day, man, you're defending a territory and having a sense of pride about not letting teams in the end zone. Like, I don't care about yards. I really don't. If you told me that a team's gonna have 500 yards and they ain't gonna score, I'll take that. Now, ideally, don't want them to have 500 yards, but at the end of the day, the game is about touchdowns. The game is about scoring. right? And if you can keep a team from scoring, you got a chance to win the game, right? And obviously we gave up some runs, catches throughout the season, but there's been a major harp on if we want to have a chance to win, right, as a team and play complementary football, like we got to play a different brand of ball, especially when we get inside of that 12 to 20-yard line, right? Knowing what teams are going to try to do to us.
Nebraska kind of retooled their wide receiver room, Nair and Banks. What have you just kind of seen from those wide receivers, and how are they going to, test the secondary that's played very well so far?
Well, they're super talented. They know how to stretch the field vertically. They got some guys that can flat out fly. They've done a tremendous job recruiting. I think the biggest thing is right, like it's obvious and apparent. Coach Barker's going off up there. It's obvious and apparent, right, that anytime you can allow the run game to kind of dictate the game, that opens up everything else. And so, right, I think part of the reason why they've been able to have success on the outside, it's they're playing complementary football, right? They're running the ball at a high rate, and that's just opening up the pass game. And so those wide receivers are as talented as they come. I think it's going to be a great matchup with our secondary. This is going to be the first time our secondary, probably outside of Kansas, that has been truly tested on the outside, so I'm looking forward to it. But it's just about winning your one-on-one in your matchups, And so you can win your one-on-one in your matchup, I think we got a chance to win.
That secondary does seem to have settled in from a communications standpoint. What's the key to that? Is there one leader back there that kind of holds it together?
The key to that is experience, right? We didn't have this last year, right? Going into the season last year, I think Miles Scott had never had a start. Xavier Scott had 2 starts. Tyler Strainer had 3 starts. Zach Tobey hadn't had no starts, right? I had 2 transfers. I mean, we had a bunch of dudes with relatively no playing time, and now we get a group of guys, right? I think about Torrey Cox. He had over 20 career starts even before he got here, right? You add T. Brooks to that mix. He had over 20 career starts, right? Miles has had a full season under his belt. Matt Bailey is kind of still, he hadn't had that many starts, but he's getting back into the rhythm. He was naturally a leader. Xavier Scott, I think it's going to be like his 14th, maybe 15th start. So we got guys who are experienced now, right? And that trial and error that they went through last year is kind of helping us out right now in this very moment. So it was good to kind of throw them in the fire last year, and they're growing and learning from it now.
Coach, you guys moved it in the top 25 this week. You guys moved the rankings. Does that matter to you at all?
Pardon my language, I hate rankings. I talked to our defense specifically, right? We said FTR. I ain't gonna tell you what that means, right? But I'm just telling you, I hate rankings, guys. I hate them. I hate them. Great for recruiting. Great for our program historically. Awesome, right? Phenomenal, right? Excited about that and everything. But here's the reality, right? They don't decide who goes to the national championship game week 3, right? Week 4, right? It's a season for a reason, right? You have to play every game, and every game matters. One reason why I hate rankings is because they're gonna get DMs and pats on the back and all this and that, and right, that don't matter right now. What matters is the task at hand. What matters is focusing on your current opponent. Because if you come in there sleepwalking, like any team, right? You guys probably had a chance to see that earlier in our Central Michigan game, and I said it, right? You come in there sleepwalking, this team's trying to win a game, and any team can win any given week, right? Good or bad, any team can win any given week, and so. I'm not a big fan of the rankings personally, right? And so I got to do some back channel things in regards to try to focus our guys. But it's good. Love it for the university, right? Mark out all those. Love it for the university. Love it for recruiting. I love it all. But it's just in terms of the right now and our players trying to get them to focus on the right now and the task at hand.
Have you seen just over the years rankings getting into a team's head and they play like crap?
Oh yeah. I've been a part of some of those teams, right? Where you think that you should, because you are ranked and you've played some good opponents early, that the team that you're playing currently is just going to lay down and allow you to, and then they get hit in the mouth and they lose the game and voila, right? And so I'm only not a fan of rankings because I know, right, when you've been a player and you've seen how rankings can, especially for people, especially for teams who aren't used to being ranked a lot, right? There's a sense of comfort there that is not, it's scary as a coach, right? I was listening to Nick Saban, I think it was last week, and he made reference to, how when he had success in winning a national championship, he he could never celebrate it because it was always like what's next, and how do I keep my team humble and focused and ready for the next opportunity. And I think as a coach, like, we're always thinking in advance, right? Like, we walked on off that field, obviously winning, and there were some things that I was excited about, but like my mind was racing on like how is Nebraska going to attack us? Okay, I know how they're going to attack us. They would do this, and that. I would do this, and so it's like constantly like looking for that next step and that next approach, and just just staying in that moment. You know what I mean? And so it's like I said, it's cool for the university. It's exciting. It's awesome, but man, I know it can. I don't want to be on the side that celebrates the right now and is humbled down the road because we didn't truly lock in with what was in front of us.
What are Briggs and Edwards giving you right now, and how do you feel about the guys kind of developing behind them? It seems like Pat made some good plays the other day. And
Dude, those T-Rod Edwards, pardon my language, he's an unsung hero. Right, he does all the dirty work, doesn't get a lot of praise. Right, the addition with Briggs has been awesome. I mean, that dude is a terror, absolute terror inside. Right, this is no recruiting pitch to any portal D lineman in the future, right? But that cat is special, man. Like, I'm so glad he's here. Obviously, T-Rod was a portal kid as well, and so I mean, just to value those two men bring inside for us, I think it makes us very effective. It makes us very strong at the point of attack. And then obviously you have those other two guys on the outside. I think we got a pretty unique and special front when you combine all of them together. But what they're doing and what Coach J-Mo is having those guys do up front, it's been awesome. And I'm really excited to see how it continues to grow during conference play.
Is the pressure T-Rod's been able to get the last couple of games, is that unique for his position that's maybe not necessarily known for getting in the backfield?
100%, right? Like I said, nose guards don't get a lot of credit and a lot of love, but the young man is obviously nimble. He's obviously quick. He's done a tremendous job. We've put him in some situations to kind of do some things to where he can get back there, but part of that is T-Rod is a player that has developed in this system and in this scheme, right, who could have easily left when he was behind, right, Denzel Jackson, right? And because he stayed, right, he is reaping the rewards of that, right? And so, ironically enough, the word of this week defensively for us is selfless, right? That's the focal point in the word of the week. And so, again, we live in a society now where everybody, especially young players, are so focused on me. And T-Rod told a story a couple of weeks ago, right, how he felt like when he got here and he was playing, he was behind some guys that it wasn't him, it was the coaches, right? It was the coaches. Well, he had a chance to sit back and grow and learn from that process and realize, like, damn, I was being selfish, right? And once you set your ego aside, right, you just seen that young man grow and blossom, and now, right, the world, we saw it as coaches, but now the world is being able to see him kind of grow, blossom, and develop, and I'm so excited for him and all those guys up front, man. It's really a testament, right? T-Rod, in the offseason, him and some of our Illini Council guys, they put together this massive barbecue defensively. I had never seen nothing like it, man. It was like every defensive player, they bought the food, they got together, and they hung out, not just one time, but it was like 5 or 6 different times. That had never occurred here since I've been here, right? And again, I say this, and I said it last week, right? You can be as talented as you want to be. We got some talented players. There's talented players across the country. But if you are not connected as a team and as a side of the ball, it don't matter how talented you are. It's a bunch of individual contractors working separate from each other. You get a bunch of individual results, right? Lost the game, but this cat had 12 tackles and 2 interceptions, right? Great for him, but the defense didn't play well. Well, what you're seeing now is us defensively, guys are playing together, guys are understanding and embracing their role. Every play is not allowed for you to take an inside move and sack the quarterback. Sometimes you got to crush, hold your line, all right, for somebody else to get the sack, right? Sometimes you got to be a middle of the field defender, right, and you're not in man coverage. Sometimes you're going to be in man coverage, and you're supposed to be a middle of the field. So everybody has a responsibility, and the cool part about it is we got a bunch of selfless guys, man. And I'm so excited that you guys are able to kind of take a glimpse of that, because I mean, on paper, in theory, right, we don't have a bunch of 4- and 5-star guys. We got a bunch of gritty, tough, right? Smart, dependable, dudes from Illinois, dudes from Florida, dudes from all over the country who fit what we're trying to do. And the result of that, right? I think you get a relatively good product when every cat is selfless and is about the team.
How do you build that?
I don't know how much you want to address what's been going on with you off the field.
Mm-hmm.
Can you address specifically the support you've gotten from your boss and your boss's boss and everybody else up the food chain?
Yeah, I can't express it enough, right? Like I mean, what Coach B has done, our defensive staff, our players, Josh Whitman, Roger Denny, right? I lost my sister last week. Got a phone call around 9 p.m. Unexpected, 39 years old, 4 kids. They're 9, 11, 17, and 22. And obviously, me and my sister grew up together, but you know, when you hear that kind of news, obviously it's relatively tragic. And you know, the hard part for me, right, as her brother, her older brother is you weren't there. You know, like that's the hard part. You know, but I just hope that she knew she was loved when she did pass. We're still trying to find out. They're doing an autopsy report on the details and how everything came about, but it was sudden, it was tragic. I just hope she knew that she was loved. It was extremely tough, right? Obviously, got to get prepared and go into a game, and I ended up leaving that night relatively fast. After that, I had a chance to talk to Coach. I went home, and that morning. I was actually off that morning up until practice, so probably I was able to stay home probably about 3 hours up until about 9 o'clock, and had to move relatively fast and set up funeral arrangements in regards to her. And like Josh, Coach B, they you know, I was trying to set up flights and stuff, and I'm actually flying home on Saturday after the game to lay her to rest on Sunday. So it was obviously it's a very hard week, you know. I really feel bad for my nieces and nephews. You know, anytime you got some young babies who had to go through something like that and to lose their mother, very, 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 very challenging. But obviously I got a great support system here. My dad is actually up here. He wasn't going to come, but I needed him. He came up here. He's leaving on Thursday, and you know, I do find peace in knowing that my sister did know Jesus Christ. But it's never easy, you know. Anytime I get a phone call during the season, it's about 20 missed phone calls. I knew something was wrong. It's just so unfortunate, man. 39 years old. Lives in Fort Myers, Florida, and then that's where all my siblings are. And it was just really, really, really tough. And just to have Coach there, our defensive staff, Coach J-Mo kind of took over, did a phenomenal job, man. Like the influx of texts and phone calls I got from our players, the amount of love they showed when I walked in here to get ready for practice. It was obviously difficult. You know, there were, you know, it kind of hits you, but it really doesn't hit you, you know. And I just even her passing on Tuesday night, there were moments throughout the day before the game. There were moments right before kickoff, you know, that I'm like, it was still like a shocker there. I had a moment yesterday, right, and it's like piece by piece I'm finding myself in these moments to where it's like I can't believe this has happened, you know. And what I love what Coach Parker did is that morning he made all the DBs. Their phones are not allowed in the meeting room, but he made all the DBs call. If they didn't have a sister, call their aunt, right? They talk to mom pretty much every day, but call their aunt or a woman in their life that wasn't their mother, or wasn't their grandmother. And so, like, I'm sure we all got siblings or we all got people that we're close to, man. But I think anytime you lose someone suddenly, you know, there's a sense of heartache, there's a sense of pain, there's a sense of, you know, I can remember I was telling Coach, you know, the first thing that came to mind was when I was a child, you know, my sister, me and her bedroom was right next to each other. She had twin beds in her room, and we were living with my grandmother, and I used to get scared all the time as a kid, and I would go into her bedroom, and she would just comfort me, man, you know. And there's a lot of peace in regards to her being gone, because she was such a caretaker, you know. And it was difficult. It's still been difficult. It's still having moments, but I just hope she knew that she was loved, and I'm relatively at peace knowing that she did believe in Jesus.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you, brother.